Bombed night and day, Kyiv's residents take shelter as air defences in Ukraine's capital are faced with a barrage of Russian drones and missiles.
Mounting tensions in the Balkans as Serbia blames Kosovo for clashes that injured 25 NATO peacekeepers and dozens of civilians.
Talks underway in Paris to end what President Emmanuel Macron tells delegates is a plastic time bomb.
The European Union says it's increased its firefighting aircraft fleet in anticipation of another summer of intense heat.
Burning debris from a downed missile lands in Kyiv traffic on Monday as Russia launched a daytime attack on the Ukrainian capital using 11 ballistic and cruise missiles. Kyiv residents took shelter in the metro. They'd already endured 2 successive nighttime raids.
Кілька російських терористичних атак за добу. Шахеди, крилаті ракети, балістичні, керовані авіабомби. Дякувати нашій ППО, усім захисникам і захисницям неба сьогодні вдалося врятувати як мінімум сотні життів лише за один день. Більшість шахедів і ракет збиті.
Although American Patriot missiles and other air defences are working, Kyiv's mayor says Russia's aim is to sap the morale of the city's people.
Путину нужна Украина. Без нас, без украинцев. И ключевой целью находится город, мирный город, где в сегодняшний день находится более 3 миллионов жителей.
In the rest of Ukraine, Monday's attacks left at least 5 civilians dead, 3 of them in the city of Toretsk in the Donetsk region, bombed by Russian aviation during the day. 2 other people were killed in attacks in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Russia targeted Kyiv again on Monday night.
Russia launched some of the largest attacks, chiefly targeting Kyiv, for 2 nights in a row over the weekend and then on Monday morning. On the 28th of May, Russian forces conducted the largest Shahed drone strike against Ukraine since the start of the full-scale war, launching 59 Shahed drones. On Monday night, Ukrainian air defenses shot down more than 40 air targets, including drones and missiles that were moving toward Kyiv. The Institute for the Study of War says the Russian allocation of aerial munitions to targeting Kyiv rather than prioritizing infrastructure or military facilities continues to constrain this limited Russian air campaign's ability to meaningfully degrade Ukrainian offensive capabilities for the upcoming counter-offensive. Wagner Group leader Yevgeny Prigozhin claimed that the Russian relief-in-place operation in Bakhmut may continue past his initial 1st of June deadline and last until the 5th of June. He explained it, saying that Wagner is not able to transfer all equipment in good condition by the 1st of June. The UK Defence Ministry said as of the 24th of May, Moscow-backed self-proclaimed so-called Donetsk People's Republic forces have likely entered Bakhmut to start clearance operations. In recent weeks, elements of the 31st Brigade of Russia's airborne forces have likely moved from the Svatove-Kremina area to reinforce Bakhmut's flanks. The Institute for the Study of War previously observed the elements of a 132nd Separate Guard Motorized Rifle Brigade of Moscow-backed self-proclaimed so-called DNR Army Corps operating in the Bakhmut direction after previously fighting in the Avdiivka area. The transfer of these other Russian units to Bakhmut may further slow Russian efforts in the other areas. Ukrainian forces had taken 20 square kilometers on Bakhmut's flanks as of 16th of May. The rotation out of Wagner forces is likely to continue in controlled phases to prevent collapse in pockets around Bakhmut. The Institute for the Study of War says the tempo of Russian operations around Bakhmut remains notably low.
Russia has issued a warrant for the arrest of Republican U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham over comments he made during a meeting with Ukraine's President Zelensky. In a video released of the meeting, Graham says that there are too many Russians dying in the war, and then says that the money spent on military aid to Ukraine was the best spent ever. Although the 2 comments were apparently made in separate parts of the conversation, they appeared together, provoking Russian anger. On Twitter, Graham welcomed the warrant, but said he doubted his chances of getting a fair trial. Some 25 soldiers from NATO's KFOR peacekeeping force were injured on Monday in clashes with ethnic Serbs in northern Kosovo. The protesters were trying to occupy a municipal building and prevent the start of work in the town hall. The municipality is now in the hands of the Kosovo Albanian minority after the Serb majority boycotted recent local elections. Many of the wounded soldiers, some of whom are seriously injured, are Italian. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni condemned the attack and said further actions of this kind won't be tolerated. Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić, however, defended the Serbian position and blamed Kosovo Prime Minister Albin Kurti for the unrest. Vučić spent the night with Serbian troops stationed near the border with Kosovo.
Rasporedili smo u skladu sa situacijom naše snage na mestima gdje mislimo da je to neophodno. Mi ćemo noćas više mesta sa našim vojnicima obići. Nećemo dozvoliti pogrom srpskog naroda.
Dozens of ethnic Serb civilians were also injured in Monday's clashes. Tension has been rising between the Balkan neighbours. Last week, Serbia put its border forces on high alert.
European Parliament President Roberta Metsola meeting the Slovakian President Zuzana Kaputova in Bratislava ahead of the opening of GlobeSec 2023 on European security. The 18th edition focuses on security like never before, fueled by Russia's war in Ukraine. At the forum, President Metsola had strong words for the participants.
When last year we were talking about, okay, 5 days for Putin to take over Kiev, we're now over 400 days after that. Kiev is bombed more than it has been these past 2 days. The bombs are increasing. We have a responsibility to make sure that those populists who want us to talk about something else don't manage. And that's up to us to do it.
The event is also expected to highlight the Central Eastern European region's influence on global stability. But the conference will also shed light on the knock-on effects Russia's invasion of Ukraine are having on our world. Soaring inflation, the rising cost of living, unprecedented energy disruptions, and economic and food crises are just some of the developing factors.
As the dust settles after Sunday's election drama, people in Turkey are coming to terms with 5 more years of President Erdogan's rule. He won 52% of the vote, a slim majority over his reformist opponent Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, but enough for those who see him as a strong and proven leader.
Beklediğim gibi gelişti. Ülkemiz için hayırlı olan kişinin geldiğini düşünenlerden. Tabii ki fazlasıyla davasından dolayı memnunum. Geri kalan her şey hikaye, önce vatan.
Many pre-election polls suggested that Erdogan would lose and offered the prospect of a new era for Turkey. For Kılıçdaroğlu supporters, defeat is hard to bear.
Çok bir umudum yok. Yani Türkiye'den çok bir umudum yok. Yani ilk fırsatta yurt dışında bir şeyler bulursam yurt dışına gitmek istiyorum yani. Ben mühendis olacağım ve yurt dışındaki fırsatlar daha iyi.
To reunite the country, as he vowed, Erdogan will have to overcome some severe challenges, including soaring inflation and rebuilding areas devastated by this year's earthquake. For the opposition alliance, having come in close this time, it's a period of reflection on what more needs to be done to convince Turkish voters.
Rescuers found 4 people dead after a tourist boat capsized and sank on Lake Maggiore in northern Italy. Local media said some of the 20 people who survived managed to swim ashore. Several of them were injured. The private hired vessel capsized late on Sunday afternoon. Regional officials said bad weather conditions could have caused the incident. Italian Deputy Prime Minister Matteo Salvini praised the rescuers, saying their quick actions prevented what could have been a much more tragic outcome. French President Emmanuel Macron warns that global plastic pollution is a time bomb. He was speaking in a video message as delegates started 5 days of talks in Paris aimed at reaching an international treaty to end plastic waste. Representatives of 175 nations with divergent ambitions met at UNESCO headquarters in Paris on Monday. The French president urged nations to put an end to today's globalised and unsustainable production model.
Nous sommes interdépendants. C'est pourquoi nous avons besoin d'un traité international juridiquement contraignant. Ce traité, c'est ensemble qu'il nous faut le construire. Il doit nous permettre d'avancer sur plusieurs objectifs fondamentaux.
Annual plastic production has more than doubled in 20 years to 460 million tonnes and is on track to triple within 4 decades. In February 2022, nations agreed in principle on the need for a legally binding UN treaty to end plastic pollution around the world, setting an ambitious 2024 deadline.
There is little doubt among experts Europe will endure a difficult summer. The EU Commissioner for Crisis Management, Janez Lenarčič, told reporters that this year is already much drier than average. And this drought, combined with the heat we're expecting, is of course a major driver of forest fires. It's for this reason that Lenarčič announced that the EU has doubled its firefighting fleet to face a summer season that is expected to be intense. The European firefighting air fleet will increase from 13 to 28 aircraft, 10 firefighting aircraft, 14 light amphibious aircraft and 4 helicopters. In addition to this fleet, which is distributed over 10 countries, there are more than 400 firefighters available in Greece, France and Portugal. The European Commissioner stressed the importance of the Community Civil Protection Mechanism, which was activated over 100 times last year, when Europe suffered the hottest summer in its history.